Hello everybody and welcome to Bitly, our smart online auction house with snowboard gear. Let's take you through the entire coursework along the lines of your coursework description. And first of all, we want to sign up a user. Now, if we sign up a user, and I'll just use some really basic mock data as you can see, we will create a user account. I'm signed in, and when I'm signed in, I actually have an additional bunch of functionality. We have, if we log out, to log in a user, and now we're actually using the admin just to show you that we have some additional usability for the admin. The admin has an admin overview just over here. Point 2.
The second capability is that users can create auctions, which we can easily show. So for the new auction, an auction title can be entered. Then we can put a random description, starting price, reserve price, and a start date and end date. And we have built in some capability that prevents the system from choosing a date in the past. So we're just going to choose a date that lies in the future. So these are all in the future. We can add an image and we create the auction. So this worked.
Now, in general, we have our page with all the auctions, and you can search for it. We have both categories implemented, where you can see, okay, basically there's some snowboards, you have some free skis, some snowwear. Oh, so basically there are no categories yet implemented here. And we can also click back and search for something. So let's search, for instance, for lip. We have these two snowboards, and we can actually filter them and sort them. So we can sort them by the ascending price. We can also sort them by descending price, by auction end, and by seller rating, which gives the user a nice and clean functionality to actually filter through all the auctions. And when you're done with it, you can actually just go out and see everything.
So now, if we look at a specific auction, so this is a new auction that was just recently created. We can see there's the status, the start date, the countdown, the current highest bid, there's a description, a category, and also some extra statistics. The views on the item, watch list capability, a bidding history of the previous bids, and information on the seller, such as the seller name and the rating of the seller, if there is any. Let's now enter a bid. So this was also successful. Now, what else can we do?
Great. Now also in this feature on the auction side, we see add to watch list. So in case you saw an item that you liked, but you didn't necessarily want to bid on, you can just place it on your watch list, which later on we will show you, as you can see, the bidding history will show you in our overview table. So all the users have the ability to have a seller auction, a buyer auction, and a watch list, and see an overview of what they've done in the past. So here's the item that we just put onto our auction list. Sorry, on our watch list, the banana snowboard. Now, what we also see here is the seller auctions. So if you have sold any, or if you have placed any auctions to be sold, you get an overview of the latest bids, you get an overview of the views, the auction end date, and your item. And basically you can see what happens, what's going on with your item. Additionally, also for the seller, and that's very important, you will receive email updates in general. So that's true for all users. So for instance, here we see the bid that we just made on the banana board got sent to us via email. Now we also have implemented a buyer auctions website, which gives you an overview of all the bids that you've placed and whether those bids actually are still in a live auction, or whether those bids you have won, lost in this case, or if you've won the auction, you can actually give here a rating. However, we don't currently have, with our mock data, we don't have an example where you won the item and the auction, and thus you can't give a rating yet. However, it is implemented. And that brings us to the last bit. Since I am the admin, there's also an admin overview which features all of the auctions that are actually existing in this feature, in this place, and you can delete an auction, which what we see here just takes out the auction in general. Now this brings us to the last point.
Point 8 on the list. recommendation engine. So we implemented a recommendation engine based on the views, and you see the recommendations down here. In the backend, we have a function that takes the number of times that a user viewed an item and divides it by the maximum number of times that they viewed an item to give a rating. And we're showing this down here. The specific 5 items you're seeing right now are not linked with the backend, but it's all there. On top of that, we just showed you the email functionality that we have, and it's worth mentioning that we've implemented this for 4 different scenarios. So for both sellers and buyers, they receive emails when a new bid was submitted, when they've been outbid, and when the auction is finished. The seller and the winner of the auction get notified.
Yes. One last thing that I just realized, what you can see here is the ratings. So based on these, so Michael Ehring, for instance, my colleague in crime here, he hasn't gotten any seller ratings yet. I, however, on the other side, have received a couple of ratings on my auctions. So this is then also being implemented for other users to be seen. This is the average rating, basically. And that brings us to the end. Thank you so much for listening in. I think we've had a wonderful time programming this entire project, and I think we would also love to continue doing this. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.